Hola everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm finally gonna do a Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram and here on YouTube to give me some questions that you guys would like me to address during the Q&A. And I didn't get very many responses, but I did get a few. I figured this would be perfect because I'm here at the office, but there's no orders to work on. I had to think of something in order for me to make some content because otherwise I wouldn't have anything to put out this week. All right, so I'm gonna start with the Instagram questions. I don't think I should say names because I don't know if that's what people want. But anyway, I got 2, 4, 6, 12. I got only 15 questions, but they are good ones. So the first one is actually perfect to start this video. How did it all start? It started when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. I knew that I wanted to create something that I wanted to have forever, for milestones and everything. And that's why I started scrapbooking. So this all started with me scrapbooking. Actual 12 by 12 scrapbook pages where you take your pictures and you put them on the scrapbook page and, you know, you decorate it with embellishments and stickers and ribbon and twine and all the things. You put it on that 12 by 12 paper. You put that paper in the 12 by 12 pocket and there you have a scrapbook. And anyway, that's how it started. It started with scrapbooking just because I wanted to keep physical memories of her pictures and things like that. And I like to be creative. That was back in 2009. So 2009 is when I officially started. That's when like I had my first little box and I would just craft on the couch, the bed, the table that we ate at. Little by little, I started getting into like creating scrapbook pages and albums for others, like as gifts and stuff like that. And then I purchased my first Cricut when I was pregnant with my son. And it was back when Cricut had cartridges and you can only cut from that cartridge. Like the shapes were only whatever was in that cartridge. Remember, I got it because we were invited to a couple weddings that year. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'll make the greeting cards for it. Then I got into card making and it just grew from there, honestly. I realized how much I loved doing it and how good I was at it and how I felt when I created. So I just kept teaching myself new things and this is where I am now. As far as the business side of it, throughout my whole creative career, I want to say, like my whole creative journey from 2009 till now, there were times where people paid for my work. It would be like family and friends. They paid for my work. It wasn't like I had a store or anything. It was just by word of mouth. So I did make like some side money from it. Nothing too crazy. Everything that I made, it was like just to get more crafting supplies. So I never thought of it as an actual business. Not up until I took out the LLC. Because we moved to a new place, it was a new town. It was just a lot of new. I decided, you know what? I think I could make this a thing. So that's what I did. And I made it an actual business starting then. But I was making money from it before. How are you so creative? I don't know. I think there's just so many thoughts in my mind. And I don't know. I honestly don't know the answers to that question. Are we all born with it? I don't think so. Because I feel like you cannot be crafty at all. And then all of a sudden get a Cricut and now you're crafty. So I don't know. What glue do you use? Barely Art glue. Love this thing. This is my number one. I also use hot glue and my ATG. Those three are my main ones. And that doesn't include like the Pop Dots and everything because the Pop Dots, you could just literally get them anywhere. Any and everywhere. But as far as like glue, this one is top notch. This one and my hot glue. Sorry guys, I had to turn on my AC. So hopefully you don't hear it. This thing does a good job with keeping other noises kind of muffled. So hopefully you don't hear it, but I mean, it's hot, so I need to have my AC on. All right, so next question. How do you stay organized? My brain has too many ideas. So for me, it's the way that my brain works. I cannot tell you how. Like it just happens to work that way. Like not everybody is wired this way, but for me, if I am not organized, I cannot be creative. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel like I can bring my ideas to life. My mind will just focus on the fact that it's not organized. It'll focus on the fact that everything is a mess. And that's the reason why I'm able to stay organized. And I've been that way forever. Like that's just how I am. So that's how I'm able to do it. It's not like one day I woke up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be organized. It's just the way my brain is wired. What does help though is the fact that because I've been doing this for such a long time, even back when it was just a hobby crafting, I have been able to find homes for everything. So once something has a home, it's so much easier for me to stay organized because I'll just put it back in its home and there you go. Everything is where it's supposed to be. It's my best advice. And make sure that you find a home for everything. All right, next question. When did you start crafting? You guys already know because how it all started. What's your favorite cake topper you've ever made? Oh my goodness, that's a difficult one. That's tough. I think I know. I'm gonna go with my tie-dye Make-A-Wish topper for a few reasons. It's not like my most outrageous topper. It's not my most layered and my most detailed topper, but I think it holds such a special place in my heart because I made that topper for my daughter's 11th birthday. And the theme of her 11th birthday, even though we went away, I still, like did the setup and everything, was Make-A-Wish because my husband and I's thing is Make-A-Wish because our anniversary, dating, engagement, and wedding is 11/11. Hence the necklace. When it was her 11th birthday, she liked tie-dye at the time, so I did it tie-dye theme, but instead of happy birthday, it was Make-A-Wish. And that is the most special topper to me because of that. But then it also became my best seller for my business. One of my best sellers for my business. I think to date, that is definitely top seller. So I think that's my most favorite cake topper to make. And it wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for my daughter. Because she's the one that kind of, not came up with the idea, but she told me that she wanted it to be tie-dye themed. So because of her, I had a bestseller for my business. So it's a combination of both worlds. My family and my business. And you guys already know this business is a family-run business. Like this business wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for my family. Hey Stephanie, what helped you the most in growing your audience or sales? Consistency. I know that's cliche and everybody tells you that, but I can tell you from experience, once I started being consistent, once I had a schedule for myself and I showed up even on the bad days, even when there was nothing to do, even when I had no orders, when things were going wrong in both business and personal, I showed up and I continue to show up. Like, look at me right now. I have no orders. I have no motivation to create anything new because I have no orders, but I'm still here. So my biggest advice to growing your audience is be consistent, be present, be in people's faces. People won't remember you if you post once in a while. I mean, unless you have like a super huge impact or have a big audience already, they won't remember you unless you're there constantly. And I know it's hard to do, but that's the best advice I could give. That is how I was able to grow my audience. And from growing my audience, I was able to grow my sales. Be consistent, be present, be there, show up, and you'll see results. I promise you. All right, this next question is a very special question. And I'm gonna tell you exactly who it's from. It is from my husband. And he wants to know, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know, babe, but I got it right the first time. All right, nothing to ask, but love your video. Stay blessed. Aww. When did you start your business and where do most of your orders come from? Website or local? Okay, so you guys already know when I started my business, and most of my orders are online, 100% online. I feel like local is not as much. Like you would think, because of word of mouth and everything, but no. Most of my orders come from strangers and from people that aren't strangers, but that are far away and I have to ship to them. I feel like leading up to the LLC part of the business, it was mostly local. I'll tell you that much. So back when we were in Queens, all of my orders were local, all of them. And now it's definitely online. That's where my success is. Why are your cake toppers the best thing ever? And that's from my bestie. She's the bestest friend ever. I just want to say thank you for being an inspiration to me and everyone else watching. Go girl. Thank you. That's all I could ever ask for, to be inspiration, because I feel like when I first started YouTube, I did not have that inspiration at all. Actually, maybe I'll throw this in here, even though it's not really a question. When I first started YouTube, was back in 2011, I would share strictly my hobby crafting. I would share my projects, I would share hauls, just things like that, right? It was nothing business related. I want to say 2019, 2020 is when I kind of shifted to the business aspect of it, but I had no inspiration because there really wasn't any small business videos out there, at least none that I saw. So I didn't really have like a baseline for what to share, how to share it, what to do, what to say, you know, things like that. And now I know that there are so many out there, so many. But unfortunately, I didn't have that for myself when I was transitioning into the small business side of things. So if I can be an inspiration to anyone out there, I've already won. I've already done my job as a content creator here on YouTube. I've done my job as a small business YouTuber. What's the best advice you can give to someone who is new to starting a business, a home-based business? Oh my goodness, this is a hard one because every business is different and every niche is different. And, you know, depending on what you do and how you're doing it, where you're doing it, everything is different. I feel like the number one cliche answer is just go for it, just start. And it's true. You have to start. You're gonna learn things on the way that is custom to you and your business. I don't know if I'm making sense, but once you start, you're going to learn so much. You're gonna learn what works, what doesn't. Things are gonna fail, things are gonna be a success, but you won't be able to know how to navigate through your business if you don't start, because obviously there's not gonna be anything to navigate through. So once you start, you're gonna learn so much along the way. I don't know, like I can't tell you how your business is gonna go or like what you should do for your business because I don't know what your business is. It all starts with actually starting it, right? So once you start it, like that's the easy part, starting it. Opening up a shop, opening up a Etsy shop, and starting an Instagram account and starting a TikTok account. That's the easy part. My best advice is once you open up everything, once you start, be consistent. It goes back to what I was saying before about show up and be present, and that's how you grow your audience. That's exactly how you're gonna grow your business. If you open up an Etsy shop and don't do anything to it, like don't promote it, don't do anything, it's not gonna go anywhere. Like Etsy is not gonna do the job for you. If you start an Instagram and you don't post, what's the point of starting an Instagram? Like you have to post. No one will find you if you don't do that. Same thing with TikTok, with social media. Yes, you can start it and you know you can make the page, but be consistent with it. Make sure to show up every day, even if you have one follower and that follower is yourself. That's okay. Everyone starts with the same. Everybody starts at the same zero line. You can either choose to grow or to stay. And my best advice is to grow by showing up every single day. Well, not every single day, but showing up weekly, at least, at minimum. If you could go back and redo anything when starting your business, what would it be? Not buying everything in bulk. For sure, not buying everything in bulk. I would also test the waters before finding one thing, going all out on that one thing, and then moving on to the next thing and going all out with that thing before I even know how the first thing is gonna do. Because my mind is so all over the place and I wanna do 1,000 things at once, when I first started my business, I was all over the place. I did not have a niche. Like now I feel like I niched it down very, very well. And if you guys have been with me for a few years, you've seen that transition from all over the place to niched down. I wish I would have started like that from the beginning, but it's okay because like I said before, when you start, you never know how it's gonna go. You're gonna fail, you're gonna succeed, you're gonna do all the things, but you never know until you actually start. So now, obviously, I know that I should have had a niche before, and not necessarily a niche, but I should have just started with like maybe one or two things, gave it my all to that, waited to see if it was gonna be a fail or a success, and then move on to the next thing or, you know, continue to add. I didn't do that for my business. I just started with one thing, went all out, didn't wait for that to give me any feedback. Like I didn't wait to see if it was gonna be a failure or a success. I just moved on to the next thing and I kept moving on and moving on and moving on. And I just ended up with a whole bunch of things and I was very overwhelmed because things wouldn't do well and I had such a big stock of it. So it was just too much for me and it made me get to a point where I actually quit my business. I quit my business many times in the past couple years, by the way. That's what I wish I would have done differently. Everything else, no, I wouldn't do anything different and wish that I wouldn't have been all over the place with my stuff and wouldn't have purchased so much of one thing and so much shipping supplies. Because I moved so many things around, the shipping boxes and the packing stuff all changed. There was a point in time where I had way too many things and I had so many packing supplies and shipping boxes that I did not know what to do with. Eventually, I was able to sell them. Last question, and this is the juiciest one because it is something that I have been avoiding talking about for almost a year. It's about my office and where my office is. So before we get into that, I want to say that the reason why I avoided the question so much is due to privacy reasons. I don't know how to explain it, but because I put myself out there on the internet, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I also have like the personal side of it. I don't like to give out too much information because I'm just worried that something is gonna happen. Like, I am super cautious. I'm super cautious with my privacy. And I felt like keeping the location of my office was at least a part of it that's like just for me. But I've had plenty of time to think about it and to come to the realization that it's not that big of a deal. So the question is your office close to your home? And the answer is yes, it's very close. We literally built this on our property. And someone asked me that before. I believe it was during a premiere, that someone asked me if it was on the property, because everybody was asking the wrong question. Everybody was asking if my office is in my home, and it's not in my home, but it was worded incorrectly. I remember somebody asking if it was on my property, and I didn't answer that because I didn't know how I wanted to respond to that. I didn't know if I wanted it to be known that it was on my property or if I was renting out somewhere else. I never mentioned that I was renting. I never mentioned that I purchased anything. I just said that I have a new office. But yes, it is on our property and it is very close to home. I literally just walk to my house. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already noticed that it was home. I mean, there's like no restroom here, even though when I was touring offices, there were offices that don't have a bathroom inside. Like, you have to walk out to go use the restroom. There's like little kitchen areas or break rooms, whatever, all in one, but you would have to leave the office in order to go to it. So that's one. And then also, I mean, my windows, like, you guys can see one of the fences right outside the window, this one and that one. And this one you couldn't see the fence because my husband had a car parked here. Now there's no car there. So on my main window, the big window, you guys probably saw a car parked there. And I remember my husband, well, everybody used to tell me that it just looks like that's like a parking spot, but I mean, it is a parking spot, just ours. We took that car out and we have the pool there. So you'll see it in maybe a future video, but we set up the pool and everything. So now there's a pool back here. All of this was because of my husband. That is honestly one of my most asked questions. I just didn't want to respond to them because I didn't want to lie. Before having this office though, I did, like I said before, I did tour offices and they're just expensive. There was one that was doable and it was very big, but I didn't like how it smelled in there. I'm glad that I didn't go with renting an office because right now, summertime, it would have been very, very difficult for me to have the rent because it's not cheap. It's not cheap renting out. And if you are renting out, kudos to you. If you are thinking of renting, just make sure that you factor in slow season, whether it's the summer, whether it's January, whatever is the slow season for you, because it's rough out here. I'm so grateful that I'm able to have this office that I don't have to pay rent. I think right now I would be freaking the F out. I don't know how I would do it right now. So yeah, that's the last question. I feel like there's so many other things that I want to talk about, but because I didn't get the questions on them, I can't think of them right now. So maybe I'll do a part 2. And hopefully now that I've done this video, you guys will see it. And if you didn't see like the post that I made on Instagram or here on YouTube and you did want to ask a question, then now's your chance. You can leave any questions down below because I'll definitely do a part 2 if there's enough questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was different, but it's the summertime. We got to work with what we got. And I still don't upload the video on me asking for your suggestions for content. So yeah, that video is going to go up next week. You guys have already seen that by now. But for this video, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask me, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll do a part 2 of the Q&A. Now I'm gonna go because I feel like I've been talking so much and my throat is killing me. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for all of your support and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.